They say power corrupts, but what happens when that power spans generations and crosses continents? We're talking about a level of influence most can't even fathom. This isn't about left versus right, it's about those who believe they're above it all, the self-proclaimed architects of human destiny. These are the globalists.
For centuries, whispers have circulated about powerful families like the Rothschilds and Rockefellers. Their immense wealth, accumulated through banking and industry, gave them unparalleled influence. Some believe these dynasties have been pulling the strings from behind the scenes. They manipulate markets, topple governments, and steer the course of history toward their own ends.
These aren't just conspiracy theories. We're talking about documented connections and undeniable patterns. The evidence is out there. The question is, are you paying attention? This is about more than money and power. It's about control. Control over our lives, our governments, and our future.
One of the most potent tools of the globalists is their control over the world's money supply. This control is wielded through central banks, institutions like the Federal Reserve, shrouded in secrecy and operating with little oversight. These central banks have the power to print money at will, devaluing currencies and trapping nations in endless cycles of debt.
The Federal Reserve, despite its name, is not a government entity. It's a private corporation, owned by a consortium of private banks. This system puts the power to create money, and therefore control its value, in the hands of a select few. This isn't about sound economic policy, it's about leveraging debt to control entire nations.
Think about it. When a government needs money, they borrow it from the central bank. This borrowed money comes with interest, ensuring that governments are perpetually indebted to these financial institutions. This debt becomes a powerful tool, used to dictate economic policies and influence political decisions.
The globalists' influence isn't limited to shadowy backroom deals. They operate openly through organizations like the World Economic Forum, an annual gathering of the world's elite. CEOs, politicians, celebrities and academics flock to Davos, Switzerland to discuss the future of our planet.
The WEF promotes initiatives like Agenda 2030, a set of sustainable development goals ostensibly aimed at ending poverty and combating climate change. While these goals might sound noble, critics argue that they represent a Trojan horse for global governance. Agenda 2030, they claim, is a blueprint for a world where unelected bureaucrats dictate everything from energy consumption to resource allocation.
The WEF's own slogan, "You'll own nothing and you'll be happy," has raised alarm bells worldwide. Is this the future the globalists envision for us? A world where individual ownership is replaced by dependence on a powerful, centralized authority.
The tentacles of globalist influence reach far beyond government and international organizations. They extend into the heart of the financial system, wielded by colossal asset management firms like BlackRock. BlackRock manages trillions of dollars in assets, giving them unprecedented influence over global markets.
This isn't just about maximizing returns for investors. BlackRock's CEO, Larry Fink, has openly advocated for using the firm's financial might to advance social and political agendas. Critics argue that this blurs the lines between capitalism and activism, with BlackRock acting as a de facto arm of the globalist agenda.
Through its vast holdings in virtually every sector of the economy, BlackRock can exert pressure on corporations to adopt policies aligned with the WEF's vision. This includes pushing for environmental, social, and governance standards, which some see as a backdoor for imposing globalist ideology on the corporate world.
Section 5. The Illusion of Choice, Media's Grip on Reality. One of the most insidious tools at the globalists' disposal is their control over the flow of information. Through their ownership of major media outlets and their influence over social media platforms, they shape public perception and steer the narrative.
Think about it. We're constantly bombarded with information from a select few sources. These sources often present a unified message, carefully curated to promote a specific agenda. Dissenting voices are silenced, labeled as misinformation or conspiracy theories. This creates the illusion of choice while subtly directing public opinion.
This control over the narrative is crucial for the globalists' plans. By shaping public perception, they can manufacture consent for their policies, even when those policies run counter to the interests of the people. This is how they maintain power and advance their agenda, all while making us believe it's our own choice.
Section 6, COVID-19, a catalyst for control. The COVID-19 pandemic presented a unique opportunity for the globalists to advance their agenda. Under the guise of public health, governments worldwide implemented unprecedented measures. Lockdowns, mask mandates, and vaccine passports became the norm, restricting our freedoms in ways previously unimaginable.
While these measures were ostensibly aimed at curbing the spread of the virus, many saw them as a test run for a more controlled future. The pandemic, they argue, provided the perfect pretext to normalize surveillance, restrict movement, and erode individual liberties.
The rapid development and rollout of mRNA vaccines further fueled suspicions. The unprecedented speed of the vaccine development process, coupled with the aggressive push for mass vaccination, raised concerns about potential long-term health effects and the erosion of informed consent. Section 7. The New World Order, Utopia or Dystopia. The globalist endgame, according to many, is the establishment of a new world order. This isn't about a world united in peace and harmony. It's about a world ruled by a powerful, unelected elite. A world where individual liberty is sacrificed on the altar of collectivism and where dissent is ruthlessly suppressed. Imagine a world where your every move is tracked, your every thought monitored. A world where you own nothing, not even your own body. A world where your access to resources is determined by your compliance with the dictates of a centralized authority. This is the dystopian future the globalists are working towards, according to their critics. This isn't a conspiracy theory, it's a plan openly discussed in global forums. The World Economic Forum's Great Reset Initiative, for example, calls for a fundamental restructuring of the global economy and a shift away from individual ownership. This vision of the future, where you will own nothing and be happy, should send chills down the spine of anyone who values freedom and autonomy. Section 8. A line in the sand. The rise of resistance. Despite the globalists' vast power and reach, a growing resistance movement is emerging. People from all walks of life are waking up to the reality of their agenda and are starting to push back.
This resistance takes many forms, from peaceful protests and online activism to civil disobedience and the creation of alternative media platforms. People are starting to see through the propaganda and question the narratives being peddled by the mainstream media. They're researching the history of central banking, the World Economic Forum, and the true agendas behind initiatives like Agenda 2030.
This growing awareness is a sign that the globalists' grip on power is not absolute. People are realizing that they have the power to resist, to reclaim their sovereignty, and to shape their own destiny. The fight for freedom is far from over, and it's a fight we can win. Section 9. Your future, your fight, time to wake up. This isn't about left versus right, it's about right versus wrong. It's about reclaiming our freedom and preventing the globalists from achieving their ultimate goal: total control. We're at a crossroads in human history, and the choices we make today will determine the fate of future generations. The future of our world hangs in the balance. Will we succumb to the globalists' vision of a tightly controlled, centrally managed world? Or will we rise up, reclaim our sovereignty, and create a future where freedom and individual liberty prevail? The choice is ours to make. We've allowed these powerful forces to operate in the shadows for far too long. We've trusted the institutions that were supposed to serve us, only to find out they've been infiltrated and co-opted. It's time to wake up, to educate ourselves, and to take action. Section 10. Resources and further exploration. This is just the tip of the iceberg. There's a wealth of information out there for those who are ready to dig deeper and discover the truth about the globalist agenda. Here are some resources to get you started. The Creature from Jekyll Island by G. Edward Griffin. Tragedy and Hope 101 by Joseph Plummer. The Fourth Turning by William Strauss and Neil Howe. The Money Masters Asterisk, The Corporation. Hypernormalization by Adam Curtis. The Corbett Report Off Guardian. This is not an exhaustive list, but it's a starting point. Do your own research, question everything, and come to your own conclusions. Reclaiming our world. The time for complacency is over. The globalists are counting on our apathy. They're counting on us to remain divided. We cannot let them win. This is a call to action.
Educate ourselves, connect and resist. Knowledge is power. The more aware we are, the stronger our resistance. Question everything, think critically and speak truth to power.
The future is not set in stone. We have the power to create a different world, but we must act now.